Because if you don't understand these things, understand your estates are going to be liquidated, and because the Europeans under pressure, they're accelerating their abuse of the people. Are we clear?
Yeah.
And they be playing.
Of course they do. But then all your leader guys, your Negro leader guys know this information too. They just ain't talking. That's why they don't like Noble Drew Ali. That's why they pretend they don't know what he did. That's why they keep on pretending he's just teaching some kind of religion when he's talking about your estate. So the issue that you're dealing with is your estate. And you need to understand that, and when you're approaching them, you must approach your argument from the position of an heir. Any other argument is dead. Do you understand? Now, Thomas E. Leopold, I guarantee he's a Knights Templar or a Knight of Columbus. European? Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Yeah. Yeah. I don't care who he is. District attorney, anybody in those positions, are Masons. See, when you don't know, they can tell by your language. When you're not sure, they can tell by your language. If you mix connotative linguistics with the allodial argument, which is what you should be arguing, they know that you haven't taken this stuff seriously. And they're going to beat you up. You know how like the prophet said, he said, I'm going to make the European tell you the truth. And in modest words, he's saying, basically, he's going to have them kicking our keisters and going to run us into the temple. Well, it's accelerating now. And you need to know that. But because you have limited knowledge because of your age, you're still a baby. And so you have limited experience. And so when you walk amongst them, you're like a little baby lamb. You're tenderloin. They looking at you as pork chops.
Lamb chop.
You know, in dinner, and you're discussing the morality of how you treat them. Don't expect morality from them. They're beasts.
I feel like they should already know that I know stuff because I've been dealing with this.
They're not, they're assuming.
I've been dealing with this since like July.
All right.
And they're not stopping.
I understand. Because you ain't came at them right yet.
That's right.
But you're going to come at them right. All right? But anyway, I'm going to give you a little bit more information. We got to get together, right? Give them a hand, y'all. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so...
Go ahead. Do your thing, April. Go ahead, girl. Don't sing now. Sing later. But go ahead. Tell us what's up.
Makes me really nervous right now.
Stay in the mic. Stay in the mic.
All right, so I attended a university, Bloomsburg, in the Poconos, and a European girl, she just started, I don't want to sound ghetto.
Speak loud so we can hear you.
She just started talking to me real crazy, telling me that I don't have no rights and you don't have no worth and you're in the way, and I was here first. I was talking to my professor.
Tell them how when he was walking into the building.
Yeah, I'm getting to that. So, this is really hard.
Just speak.
It's family. It's family.
Take your time.
Make us know.
True.
Make us know.
True.
Speak your language.
I'm
Just
gonna
say
talk like Peter. Alright, so I was walking into the building, right? So to meet my professor, because he was gonna like correct my essay. So it was nobody there in the hallway. So as I walked into the door, I walked in before the European. When I walked in, she was like, yeah, she just walked her ASS right in there. I'm like, alright, she's not talking to me. And I looked at her, she's like, yeah, you. I was like, oh, you're not talking to me. And then she was like, what you gonna do about it? Just getting real crazy. I'm like, we can talk about this when I'm done talking to the professor. So when I came out there, I'm like, why are you saying something to me? I didn't do nothing to you. She like, you people have no worth. I was here first. You don't have nothing to do with anything. You shouldn't be here. I'm like, oh, she really crazy. So I just mind my business. So when I saw her again, I asked her again what was the problem, and she started saying, what's your effing problem? I'm like, yo, what is, like, you tripping? I'm just like, what's wrong with her? So like, she claimed I gave her a concussion. So now the university had me have a meeting with
Stop,
the dean of
please, for a minute.
students.
Name the persons, not the university.
Okay,
Now, this is where the research comes in.
Exactly.
This is, now keep in mind, April, this is where the responsibility, so we have to teach each other how to prepare arguments and controversy. And what we must get used to doing is doing a little research. Santa Claus can't speak. You got to talk about his elves who write the letters and read stuff.
Right.
All right? You can't sue Santa Claus. He's a fiction. However, there are some people who've been benefiting, profiting, hiding behind Santa Claus, selling you light bulbs and stuff. And trees. You got to name them. Not the man that was in, man in the field over there selling trees. Name them.
so the dean of
Who do you
students,
know had a meeting at the university?
the dean of students, his name is Donald Young. He's the assistant vice president. He had his assistant, Michael Bott, set up a hearing with her. They said we can bring, this is my thing. If she claimed I gave her a concussion, her parents would have been there. Her parents wasn't there. She had a representative from the university representing her, which I knew was a lie because both of my parents were there to defend me, to be in a meeting. And as she was talking, she didn't really know what to say. She was rambling on. She looked real crazy. As me, I was well prepared, and I was real calm, and I was humble. And when they asked me questions, I knew what to say because I was going over it. And they were really shocked that I was so well presented, and they asked me my grades versus her grades. She was failing. And the professor told me that I met with, he said, she's doing bad, so she's coming for everybody. And I feel like that was her way in staying at the university for trying to just start an argument with me. So I ended up, and we're not even supposed to be communicating, but she came to me and she started telling me about her whole life story, about how she's not good with her parents, how she popped pills and how she smoked cigarettes and she's not supposed to do that. She got real bad anxiety attacks. I'm like, so why are you telling me this? You trying to get me in trouble. So I'm like, couldn't I use that against her? But I don't think I can, right?
Stick to the
Because we're not supposed to
Now,
speak.
this is what you would do. This is what you would do. You would not make the emotional moral argument. See how she's looking at the moral?
Right.
You would do what is called a writ of discovery.
That's what she.
You got that down?
Shut it down.
You got a writ of discovery. You already knew that. Now you'll notice that she's very skilled in certain basics. What we want to do is shine her up, polish her up, and perfect her. Writ of discovery and command the production of the evidence. But also what you want to do is that you want to file a slander suit against them. Now also, you want the bond numbers of all the persons that convened this meeting about your matters. Are we clear? And with the bond, because keep in mind that they're exercising authorities that threaten your life, your liberties, and your estate. Are we clear?
Exactly.
So,
Assuming authority that they do not have. Are we clear? Continue, April.
I'm almost finished. So she claimed she was going to drop the charges because she had the university corporate security, and then she got the county involved with it. So one day I
Who
was,
in the county?
the corporate security county.
Who's in the county?
Person.
What name?
I want you to look at, now, the reason I'm asking her, because I'm showing you where your work, that you gotta do some footwork. And make sure that you put,
It's not on that one, is it? You have to-
Slide down on there.
hold on. Oh, excuse me, I thought you wanted the light. Oh, here you go.
Keep scrolling. His name is like right here. Daniel Robert Erdman. He been calling my personal device about like 5 times at nighttime, telling me that I'm gonna go to jail for hitting her, and she seems like she's not
Oh, good. Did you have any of that on? Did you record any of it?
I have records of him calling me. I don't have no voice
All right,
thing.
that's enough.
But
April, we're gonna talk. No more, I know enough already. I know enough already.
And
But go ahead and
he
finish
tried to
off.
make me, it was like 11 at, one it was like a 9, 10 o'clock.
That's
He
the
tried to-
harassment and intimidation.
He tried to like get me to come down to the station on the campus and tell him the story, because he said because they said they have a video of me attacking her, and they said
Under rules of discovery, they gotta produce it.
they said from the looks of the video, she looks like the victim and you're the attacker, and you seem to harass her, and they was like
Still inadmissible.
yeah, that's basically. Oh, but when he first called me, I said, listen, I don't have a problem with her. I never touched her. But he still said that I could end up going to jail. I'm like, he said, so you're going to come down and tell me the story? I'm like, I'm going to call my parents first. And I hung up. And ever since then, they've been trying to call me, but I haven't been answering their phone calls.
Exactly. Don't talk, remember this. You do not talk issue on phone.
If she don't give you no medical records, don't even listen to that. She's, they're trying to get you to plead. Confess, so you don't.
What you going to
They don't
do,
wanna go to court.
you're going to
They're
take a
trying to get you to
report.
incriminate yourself.
They sent me a document in the mail telling me to come fingerprint myself at the prison.
That's more evidence. Yeah, they would have kidnapped you.
They said that I had warrant in my arrest. They sent me like 3 letters telling me to come up to the meeting room, saying I had to be at this time. My first time I was supposed to appear was October 12th at 8 a.m. and they put me in a newspaper out there
Oh, they did?
saying that I had harassed. My name was Samantha.
Now, all right.
Wait, scroll down somewhere.
Scroll down.
Scroll the document down.
Oh, yeah, keep going.
You
Oh,
already
it's not
know what
there.
happened.
Oh yeah, keep going. This is the so-called judge who sent me something as well, telling me to come. All right, scroll down.
Wait a minute, what, they sent you some instruments of mail?
He sent me some. He sent
kept the
me
envelope?
the paper where it said I was black on there, and that's where
Hold on,
this
now stop. This is what we're looking for, everybody. Did it have a Pitney Bowes red stamp on the envelope?
Yes, it did.
Yeah, I
Fraud,
had the
inducement.
document.
That was fraud. This is
Mother, pull out the documents of them sending me.
USC
That was,
18, subsection 1341 and 1342.
Yeah,
all right, scroll down again.
Go ahead.
Somewhere.
I'm keep on going.
Yeah. That's the
Somebody just made their own bed.
vice assistant dean of Bloomsburg University where I attended. He the one who gave me the article, and it said that I was harassing Samantha, and it seemed like it was supposed to be an open hearing because everyone knew about it. So they just said that she claimed that she didn't know anything about it. I feel like she did, but she's not the person that's suing me. It's everyone else but her. Her name's not on none of the documents.
Third party interloper, write that down, third party interloper. Go ahead, keep on talking.
You can scroll down.
I'm a fool.
You've been working, girl.
This is Michael Botts. He's the one who planned the hearing. But you can go ahead. You can scroll. Oh, and he's the one who also gave me a letter while I was there, telling me I had to do community service because the dean said that I'm not getting kicked out because of my response during the meeting. He said he liked me, but he said I have to do community service. I do 20 hours community service.
That's accepting the charge, because there's a bond on it. Accepting the charge without due process.
Right.
Under rule of diversity, Moorish Americans, you must due process the law by jury of your own national peers. You can call us so that we can volunteer to be as jurors. Of course, you already understand. Now, the continuation of this is also a claim against their bond. It's going to be an allodial cost schedule for the continuation of everything that they've been violating.
Where do you get
All right,
the
you're going
bond?
to do a allodial cost schedule in lieu of a fee schedule. Are we clear?
And this is the girl who started everything with me, Samantha. So I put her on there because I definitely want to get her because.
All right, yeah,
But
yes.
I signed a document of getting the information.
Anything that you sign
I
is a
put
bank
rights
bond.
reserved on there.
Oh, good. That girl's all right, ain't she?
But recently I had just got a letter in the mail, February 2nd. That was the last thing I received telling me.
Anything comes from them, you sign under duress.
Exactly.
I sent them mail fraud to the U.S. Postal
Union, U.S. Postal Union,
Yeah.
with a complaint note.
So they haven't been mailing me lately, but once I send this out, they might start over again.
You stay in the mic.
They haven't sent me nothing since February 2nd, but I'm gonna send
Yes.
all of these people something.
Yes.
So they.
Yeah, we're gonna get together real quick. All right?
Yeah.
We got to do.
Oh, they also
Go ahead.
the corporate security also called my mother's job. I don't
Yeah,
know
I
how
know,
they got her
which is-
number.
Yes.
They
Wait.
just trying everywhere.
All of these are tort liabilities. See, what they're trying to do is intimidate you because you got a monster suit. So they're going to be blocking on multiple levels. This is why you step outside the jurisdiction. Go ahead.
They have just a question because obviously it's more than enough people that
Yes,
really
you know,
are
go ahead.
into this, even on the Facebook Live. So the question that popped up was, how do you go about getting the bonds? I guess there's other people that's going through.
Now,
I think we go ahead with
let's
the
everybody get clear on this.
So,
Anyone operating on the land at North America
Yeah.
in any corporate capacity or exercising any alleged authority relative to people's rights, liberties, etc., or doing business on the land must have a surety bond to do business. If they're corporate entity members of the Roman Curia, which they are, it must be registered with the commissioner of the cities. Do you understand? And the secretaries. The reason they hide them is because they don't expect people to know what April knows. So they're going to try to block her, and this is why they've been intimidating her and stuff like that, because somebody's head is going to roll if it ever hits the desk of the Attorney General. But the Attorney General, they're all colored. This is the Clearfield doctrine. So they got each other's back. This is why the Pope has dissolved their platform, because he's under pressure by the Manchurian Masons. So you must understand things are accelerating. So she's already demonstrated competence, but we want her to be even more competent. But the major thing is to get them to stop harassing her. Let's go ahead.
When I went to see the dean of students, he showed me the article. I feel like he was trying to be on my side because he explained to me, this is my final time trying to help you. This happens again, and you can't be here no more.
This is the final time trying to coerce you. Let me tell you
I feel
something.
like he knew what was going to happen because he said that I was allowed to stay at this university, but he knew since Samantha already involved the corporate security in the state, they was already going to try to bring me into the meeting, which means that I'm not going to be able to make it in the school.
This is what it did. They started stuff, it went further than it intended to be. They wanted to injure you. But once it hits the international platform, now it's an international issue, which they don't want. Because definitely somebody's head's going to roll.
so it's going to be called Able University.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm
Yes.
glad that one day, as I was watching TV, I assumed everything was finished with because no one has been harassing me lately. So one day as I was watching TV in the dorm, my father called me and said, yeah, where you at? And I was like, in my room. And he said, well, the dean just called me and said they have a warrant for your arrest. And I was like, really? And I was up there already. So I knew that they was coming for me. They know where my dorm is at. So I left, and I went up for campus, like farther away where they wouldn't find me because they don't know who my friends are. And the next day, the dean called, I think, my mom and said that the corporate security was waiting for me at my classrooms. So that means they was already getting ready to kidnap me. So what if I was there? They would have took me into the station, and I would have been there for like 6 hours doing nothing. They
Yeah,
probably
but the
forced me to
deal of this, they would try to coerce you to sign a bank bond. Anything that you sign to them is a bank bond. But good that you know what you knew, because you did all rights reserved. But the other deal is anything that you would sign, not only do all rights reserved, TDC, threat, duress, and coercion, because they can't convert it. See, everything that they do a conversion. And anything that you sign is a bank bond because they're dealing with your estate. This is what, back to the Clearfield Doctrine, back to the coup d'etat of 61. Because you're the heir to the estate. They get you arguing what isn't really the issue. When the real deal, not only are they violating, they have no jurisdiction. So now they started something, they ran into a conscious Moorish American, and you're young, and you know your rights.
And she's a mother.
So and then you started making communications outside of their venue,
Yes.
you have an idea, I have an idea. This stuff is, in other words, the deal is they opened up Pandora's box. They wanted to put you in it, but something else is coming out.
Ah, you said open. April means open in French.
Yes. But we're going to get together on this, but I want to show you something. Enough said. Now, what you've been saying to us, all of this should be documented, which of course you've been doing. But again, what I would do is and you command this for the Grand Sheiks and the Sheikhs to get together in chamber and exercise their job according to Act 1. Of course, I know they're not, but you do it in writing. And when they fail to do it, we're going to get together and we're going to execute something. Now,
I don't even think she's.
we will start writing stuff to them.
So she did all
See, not her.
All right.
We're going to present for her.
You know what else I noticed on
Go
the
ahead.
document? It said Commonwealth versus April Janae Bay. Like Commonwealth, that's not.
Of course you know. Now, there you go. See?
Go ahead, girl.
Does she have it?
Go ahead, girl.
How am I going against dead people? Doesn't make sense.
Of course it doesn't. I'm glad. Go ahead, April. You got it going on. Because you understand. See, that's the whole deal. Knowing that the corporate entity cannot challenge the living. They're going after your estate. So you're going to do a reversion. This is why we did the reversions. Keep that in mind. But you're going to fly your colors. Let me show you an example. Let me show you an example, April. Now, as an example, this is Rick Hosan-Il. Now, Rick Hosan-Il is Chinese, but he knows the history and he knows the law, and they've been here with us for thousands of years. And Rick went after them, the IRS were coming after his private property and his business. And this is, those of you who know, this is a few years ago where we countered the IRS.
Yes.
And the IRS said, according to record, we agree that you're not liable.
Yes, yes.
It is the same thing. But you notice that he's flying the colors.
Yes, he is.
And the seals, right? So yes. Now this is principle. All right. Now, so he knows that this is the Moorish National Republic. So, and he's flying the colors, and he's holding them to their obligations. So the Aboriginal and indigenous natural peoples of the land, true and de jure Moorish Al-Moroccans. So we know that Al-Moroccans is Americans, not Europeans. They've been stealing your birthright. But let's go down this mens rea. Now notice the entry from Oscar Hosan-Il, heir by birthright and primogeniture and authorized representative. Natural person, living, sentient, divine being, in propria persona su juris su heritis in solo proprio. Ex relation, Oscar Hosan, that's the estate. Private estate, man of straw transmitting utility. Care of, it's not his address, it's care of. 58 Churchill Avenue, Trenton Territory, bringing it back to the land. Right? Via New Jersey State Republic, zip exempt, box 086110. Via United States Republic, North America, non-domestic, non-resident, non-subject. Via United States Mail, North America, Northwest Amexem. 2. Allison Sigler, foreign person agent for IRS. Foreign. See, now name the person, then the corporate entity. Not the corporate entity first. Doing business as the foreign, private, for-profit, corporate entity, Internal Revenue Service, all capital letters. See that? 50 West Street, 12th floor, Trenton, New Jersey, Incorporated. Reference, the foreigner IRS agent Alison Sigler, unlawful visit to a private estate property in northwest Amexem, land of the Moors, Moorish Americans, heirs by birthright, mail communication location, corporately known as 58 Churchill Avenue, Trenton Territory, northwest Amexem, private property in the state of Oscar Hossan Eel. This writ and notice mens rea shall serve refutably to bring to fore the unlawful de facto feudal trespass and unconstitutional impromptu and uninvited visit to and upon my personal private estate property on day 23, January 2015, blah, blah, you know, all that stuff. But the deal of it is you present yourself, you name the person, you speak from an heir position. You separate the corporation from the living. Distinguish. You represent your estate as an heir. Are we clear? Clear. So, as an example, the written notice mens rea shall serve refutably to bring before the unlawful and de facto feudal trespass and unconstitutional impromptu and uninvited visit to and upon my personal private estate. But anyway, this other paragraph comes now, Oscar Hossan Eel, ex relation. Oscar Hossan can't be it, but you have an interest in that estate. But that's the trust that they set up after the Red House fell. That's what they're operating on. So when they communicate with you, they will always communicate to the estate, expecting you to respond as if it's yourself, rather than stand on representation of the estate. Because they're speaking to the estate, which is why they do the Pitney Bowes, because they know it's mail fraud and inducement. All right? Now, any communication you do with them, you're going to make sure that you have fixed stamps on it and registered mail. Because it sends it into the international venue. All right? See what she did?
Islam.
How many stamps?
No, fixed stamps.
Fixed.
Physical fixed stamps, not Pitney Bowes.
Right.
Do you understand? Go ahead.
You had said in the video
Real quick.
before, Brother Todd, you said when you receive those correspondences on a 45, put a no contract, do not consent inducement.
Inducement, yes.
Playful doctrine, as well as at least a 2-cent stamp, because that was the last de jure.
No, because it is de jure. See, see, this is what the deal is. It's de jure and it's not. I mean, there's no such thing as half pregnant. Right. So don't let people even go in that area and start talking about it's a matter of interpretation.
Islam.
It either de jure or it's de facto. All operations of all corporate entities being members of the Roman Curia are de facto. They're imposters exercising authority that don't belong to them under Admiralty maritime jurisdiction, assuming that you're dead at sea, under the unum sanctum policy. Being Moorish American, declaring your nationality for the public record declares that you're heir to your estate and that you're not dead at sea.
You speaking of being a Moorish American, I wanted to put something out when I was attending the university. I had a professor named Cook, because that was his last name. And there was only 2 Asiatic people in the classroom, including me. All the rest was European. He asked everyone's name, and he said, oh, French, Italian, German? And when he came to me, he didn't say anything. He didn't ask me what what my title was.
They're assuming. See, this is what happens. It's what's called arbitrary hypothecation assumption. All persons of Asiatic African descent are considered Christian property unless otherwise stated. It's automatic black codes because it's not necessary because they're all chattels. And 90%, when he saw their European names, he already know their property. The issue of status is already dead. Right. There's nothing to issue. Now, the deal being Moorish Americans, you disallowed them from putting you under the Christian black codes.
Because I was like, what do you think mine means? He was like, well, I don't know. He was like, why don't you come back tomorrow and let me know? I said, no, I know what it is. And he was like, well, I said, it's a Moorish name. He's like, come again? I said, Moorish. I'm Moorish American. He was like, no, first before I told him that, he said, anyone know what that name is? And then some European was like, is it Dutch? I'm like, no, it's not.
Now, let's look at this. Let's look at this. This is for everyone. Let's look at this. I'm going to show you something. Keep in mind, overdwelling. Keep in mind them living off your birthright, right? Now I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you something, April. All right, hold that for me.
Before you even get to that,
Go ahead, keep on talking, April.
He been saying he never saw a black person ever in his life.
And of course, you corrected that.
Yes,
soon
because
as
I
you
told him,
started
I
that
said,
crap.
I'm not black, and I kept telling him I'm not black, and he kept calling me black, and we was able to do an essay either on money, race, family, so I chose race because I had to let him know. So I talked about how Abraham Lincoln signed that.
He already knows.
And then he was talking about how whites and blacks and how he taught his daughter how to play eeny, meeny, miny, moe, catch a by his toe. And I was like, oh, okay. So the next day he put down the word as an example, but except he changed it to trigger. And I'm like, you're using the same concept. I'm not stupid. So as I was doing the essay, I put Abraham Lincoln and I explained what white and black mean. And I told him that black is anything, no colors, anything stained, varnished, dyed, and black is death. Anything negative, and white is purity, God. So I was explaining to him, and he basically scratched all that off my paper. I was like, why are you scratching?
All
He said,
through
this
your
is not the
doctrine,
assignment.
denationalization.
I'm like, but that's a part of race, and I'm explaining to you how you was talking about it versus how it really means. But he just crossed all that out, and I had to have a meeting.
That's why the girls started messing with you in the first place. That was that.
They started to fail me on purpose.
All right, now this is what, now keep in mind, for those who don't know, but those who do know. Remember Obama went to Egypt and he exposed that the American Constitution come from Muslim law? And he also exposed that the longest running treaty between the United States is with Morocco.
Right.
All right, hold on. Now keep in mind, everybody knows this, and for them to sit up and pretend they don't know who the Moors are, as you can see, immediately, what he was doing is what's called a Knights of Columbus Ku Klux Klan Act of denationalization. Now, look at this. I want you to look at this, April. And everyone else look at this. Now, and this goes for so-called black leaders and so-called grand sheiks and sheikesses who keep on trying to pretend that your birthright is a belief system or has to do with belief. Now, we're going to go to citizenship of the United States, right? And this is, you're going to use this too. Addressing the issue of citizenship, right? But I want to go to the charge of the affairs, and I want you to see here, citizenship of the United States, expatriation, etc. Page 459. Now, you see that citizenship of the United States? You see where temporary provisions, what's the country that you see right there? Spell it. So when you talk about citizenship of the United States, the country is Morocco. And for him, professor, or anyone else to keep pretending that they don't know that they're standing on Morocco, you already know better, and you already know why Noble Ali did. And he said what? They keep writing you black, what do? You still stand for Moorish Americans. And he put these grand sheiks, the chairman, assistant chairman, moderator, and the grand sheiks and assistant grand sheiks, they have the power to make law and enforce law. What are they supposed to have done? Enforce this. But let's just go over this. Mr. Phillips charged the affairs to Mr. Root. Who's Mr. Root? Secretary of State. August the 3rd, 1906. When did Noble Ali set up the old Canaanite temple for the restoration of the estate?
1913.
All right. American Legion, Tangier. All right. Now I want you to pay attention to this and remember the divine warning by the prophet for the nations. Right? Sir, there are strictly speaking no Moroccan laws relating to citizenship of Moorish subjects in Morocco. The fundamental laws of this non-Christian country are based entirely upon the Islamic code, no part of which treats of the subject of citizenship. Keep in mind the divine warning by the prophet for the nation while we're going through this. And where he says the 14th and 15th Amendment is not necessary for the salvation of my people and citizens. Keep this in mind. Page 460, citizenship of the United States, expatriation, etc. There are, however, numerous treaties. This is what Obama was talking about. and conventions between the various Christian countries and the Moorish Empire, by means of which citizenship in this country is defined. So they want to play dumb, right? But as I understand from the above, the acknowledged instruction that it is not the desire of the department to call for a report upon these lines, which means he don't want to get deep, because it exposes a lot. I will therefore confine these remarks to general conditions existing which may possibly be of some use in connection with the information desired. Pay attention to this, you all. 1. Citizenship in Morocco may be said to be governed by the laws pertaining to the same in other countries, with the exception that all persons residing in Morocco who cannot prove foreign citizenship or protection are considered ipso jure as Moorish subjects. That means these people got to prove that they're not Moors. 2 and 3. Moorish subjects lost their nationality only by becoming naturalized in or protected by another country having treaty relations with the Moorish Empire. That's the 14th Amendment. You know what Drawley says? They created the Negro, black, and colored. The 14th Amendment is to steal your birthright in the divine warning by the prophet for the nations. This is the citizenship issue. And what he was doing was denaturalizing you. Make sure that you use this. I'm going to make sure that you got this and you present this to them. As a matter of fact, we're going to get together, have counsel, and I'm going to give them grant sheets and tear a new hole in their key stores.
That's the question behind it too, brother.
Let me tell you. Go ahead.
He would get really defensive and his cheeks was turning really red because I had
Of course, because he knows that you know what you're talking about. But the other thing is, by you speaking up, you're freeing those niggers who don't know that they're not monkeys. They think niggerdom is Afrocentricity. They are Christian property under the black codes. Do you understand that your position can close that daggone place down?
Down.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
Oh. Well, guess what? You got our back. You got our back. That's what I'm saying, April.
Good thing.
We got your back.
It made me go through all this stress.
Because that's what they're trying to do.
Charge them. Charge them. Charge them for the stress. Charge them for the stress.
This is what it is. They expected you to be some little nigger cookie.
That's a
They
trespass.
discovered they have a conscious error, and they stepped into the holy grail ground unexpectedly, and this thing can get very ugly for them. So they're going to do everything to block this from every angle that they can. Understand, but now you have reported to your nation, so now you're all witnesses.
Yes. Islam.
You understand? Now what we're going to do is we're going to draw up an affidavit claim in the nature of petition, but not a petition. A fiduciary command instrument, and we all going to sign it.
When I was in the meeting with him, I was just explaining to him everything he'd done. And I knew he knew what he did, but he had someone representing him, and I had someone representing me. And I didn't want to say that he
ain't no representation, nothing.
Represent?
Well, it
No,
was
remember
me.
this.
I wanted to withdraw from his class because he was failing me on purpose. And I had to talk to my advisor, and he was on my side. Like, he wasn't talking, I was the one talking. But
See, you don't resign, you make a claim.
His higher person was representing him saying, I don't think that he's a racist. I was like, I never said
It doesn't matter. See, that's a diversionary argument. They're throwing it out there, seeing if you jump on it. It's not racism. It's denationalization in violation of international law convention on genocide.
I didn't want to say race. I said
No, you do want to say it.
No, I said
genocide.
I said I don't want to be around this person with this type of view.
I know. No.
Because I didn't want to mix it up.
Now what you do, see, this is what's happening. Don't step away from the fight because then they're fighting you.
Right. Well, he knew. He was ready.
Of course. In other words, you're giving them, it's sort of like giving them the brick to hit you with.
It was really crazy to me because he really was like flipping up in his story and changing everything. I was like, are you really gonna sit here and lie about?
Charge him.
It was really.
Now, this is where we go again, April. This is where we talk about the naivety. You keep looking at the moral and ethical argument. It's not that you shouldn't, but that's not where your argument is.
But this was just in the classroom. This is not the.
It doesn't matter. It's not what the argument is, because it's blown up to something big. Do you understand? In other words, you're being injured by
Thinking
this.
about. Can you sue me?
No kidding. For real.
Calling me black.
For real.
Well, hey, slander.
Slander, denationalization,
After I was
defamation.
talking to him, he was like, well, I'm sorry that you didn't like being in my classroom. I hope you have a great semester. Like, he just tried to make me feel better, and I was just staring him down. Like, I was staring at him, giving him eye contact, and he never looked at me. He kept putting his head down.
Because he's
Tried
caught.
to be my friend with him.
Because he's caught. That's a treaty friendship book. Yeah. Treaty Constitution. Now, listen. Hold on.
Yeah, and then with the Samantha girl, when she see me, she would smile and wave, and then one day, I looked at her, she wouldn't give me no eye contact, and I'm like, something's going on. And she walked past me, and she walked past again, I kept staring at her, and she didn't want to say, like, do anything. I'm like, that's weird. And the very next day, that's when my father called me and told me that I had a warrant for my arrest, and I felt like she knew something or had something to do with it, but I don't see how she really has something to do with it. None of her names are on the documents, because she's not the one suing me, but she's the one that made the
Third-party
claim.
interloper. They're creating a bond action. It's called an ex parte action. Yes.
I just thought that was really crazy how they tried to make me imprisonate myself by coming up to the prison and fingerprinting myself. That's setting myself up. Like, you're telling me to come. I'm not saying y'all come get me, but like, yes, that's voluntarily just giving myself.
See, this is what should happen. The grand chiefs in them are supposed to send a summons to them to come to chambers under international law. We already know they're not going to do it because we already know it's what's called the Great Sal. But it's not that can't be done. It's supposed to be done. All right? And I'm glad that she's studying because it's going to be easier to teach her.
But lastly, I wanted to say, even though my cousin, she is a state security, and she looked up my name for me, and they said there's nothing there. So this whole time, I have no.
They're trying to coerce you into creating a venue. They don't have it, and they know it. The stuff's going to disappear.
They don't have the
So they
jurisdiction to
can
do
keep
a
sending
warrant.
stuff out saying I have a warrant, and I never.
Everything that they send, let me tell
It
you.
doesn't say real warrant, it says notice of warrant. Yeah. They can't issue real warrant.
You know, they don't have any authority.
Without a trial.
Right.
Cannot. So if you show up, you showing up in a special appearance. And you don't even gotta do that. In your own right, you don't have to do that because they're not an authority.
You don't have any business in there if you don't show up to the venue.
Clearfield.
I had
That's,
it 4 times, and they keep sending stuff. Like, I'm not coming. Please no, stop.
It's like debt collectors. You can call me all you want.
April. You remember Horace Greeley? Horace Greeley. You Wigmore party? All right, we'll get with this. Hold on.
Isn't it a way that these
No,
people
no,
can
no.
lose their jobs?
They will. You keep on fighting.
This is what I don't understand. Do you know they're Europeans? Do you know that their nationality is like Italian or whatever? Why they can't go back? They can't go back where they came from because they don't have a nationality there. But why? Like, I'm confused. Like, that's
You're not confused.
You're not confused. You
April.
can't go back.
You're not confused. What you're doing, you're learning to enforce your right of claim to your estate. But you're still a little mixed up and naive about what their political position is and is not.
I just don't understand why they can't just why can't we just deport them back where they came from?
Where are you getting there?
So you can deport them, right?
Yes.
That's what you're supposed to demand.
Because I don't know know who he was, but I know he was Jamaican. But he had an English last name. They sent him back to England, and he wasn't even from England.
Now that's why they've been calling themselves white people, because white people are sovereign and the rule of the land, and the Moorish Americans haven't been refuting them. The air, of course you are. But the rest of these Moorish Americans still been playing that black game, which gives them mandate. That's what they've been operating on.
I even asked my cousin, because at first I was thinking about going into that. I wanted to be a judge or a lawyer or an FBI agent.
What is supposed to happen in our communities, and this is what she's talking about. Consular court operations
I asked my cousin,
in the chambers. But again, what we need to do and have not done in the Moorish Science Temple has been enforcing caveat emptor and moving these sellout people out of position and having qualified people reestablish the consular court presentation.
How can we remove them?
That's what caveat emptor is for. Anybody that's in the Moorish movement and reads the proper literature, he already put it in place. Even in the additional bylaws, but have they been enforced? They have not. And so what happens is, she's on her own. And Moorish Americans have been on their own having to battle on principles that are already established, because the temples are actually regencies.
Yes.
And they have not been operating accordingly.
I asked my cousin how was it really, like, because I know like it's corrupted, but I want to know if it's really happening since she's a state security. I said, do you like your job? And she said, honestly, I don't like it because they're trying to make me be someone who I don't want to be. I was like,
Well, you already know that. Anybody that operates in those venues are colored.
She's operating for their benefit.
Now, the Wigmore Party, now keep in mind, the Wigmore Party, look, listen, I want you to study this. The Wigmore Party, get used to it. This is where the Europeans, with the split of the Wigmore Party, began calling themselves white people. Are we clear? And it was they're stealing the birthright of the Moors. Are we clear? You've been told. Say it again.
So we wouldn't be wrong if we call them black because they are.
Yes.
Because there you go. They trade places.
What's the other word for? Is it a troglodyte?
Troglodyte.
Troglodyte nigger. That's the scientific name for the monkey Anthropopithecus pontidae, and also for the caveman. Same scientific name.
They put stuff like that right in front of our face.
Of course they do, but certain people don't read, do they?
It's this show. I don't know if y'all guys watch it or not, but it's called Being Mary Jane, right? And it was this European guy in a car, and she was walking, and something happened, and he called her a black monkey. And she was like, really? But they're the true monkeys, and they're just calling her a monkey. And she
Because black means pale. It means light colors. That's why in the Dungy case, I put the etymology of black. See, and all you gotta do is give it to them. Matter of fact, give them what you gave right now, mail a copy to all of the representatives of that corporate entity.
Every last one.
The Dungy case, what you got when you walked in this door.
And also in the movie, I think it's Captain America. Right in the beginning of the movie,
They
they put a code in, and then as soon as it opened, it was a Moorish flag right there. It went by real fast.
Well, they're showing you. They're not hiding it. The deal with this. This is what. No, April.
Why are they so bold?
When they have, this is what they call our people. Get one of those black markers and write on that board, erase that. And write on there converso, and moriscos. That's the name that the European gave to sell out Moors who claim to be Christians, Negro, black, and cult. They're called conversos and moriscos. Translation, they're traitors. This is why no African or Asiatic people like black people, because that's their tag to the world to tell the world that they are in dishonor. That's how they can distinguish the traitors from true people who honor their mothers and fathers. They're the only people that walk around on the planet calling human beings crayons. That's the signal. And of course they get the black codes then. That's the mistreatment, the disrespect. They watch them because they're not trustworthy. Anybody that honors not their mothers and fathers, logically, they ain't gonna honor you. They're dangerous.
Together and the puzzle starts to come together, you'll have the story right in front of you. And so much so that as soon as you read it, the other people hear it and they'll just know truth, whether they want to deny it or not. They'll ask questions and they'll be in opposition with things, but at the same time, when you hear truth, you can't deny it.
Right.
I went to Catholic school too. When I heard all the stuff that they were teaching me, I tuned out. I failed a couple of religion classes. I got kicked out of more than any of them. Why? Because I'm asking questions. Well, that doesn't make sense. And what do you mean to tell me this and that? And how can you tell me when it comes to math and science that I have to show the work, but when it comes to religion, I just have to believe?
Oh, come
Which one do you want? Pass or fail? You can't have it both ways. Do you want to have the facts and the truth of the knowledge, or you just want me to believe? But you can't teach me both and not expect me to get messed up. But that's where they do. The people that don't object to that are the people that can be objectified.
And when I was up at Bloom's University, I was in a criminal justice lecture, and they was talking about law, and I noticed they kept referring everything back to Roman. And I'm like, why are they talking about Roman? We're here. Why do they keep talking about Roman? I'm like, that must have something to do with
Washington, D.C. is Rome.
And I didn't know until my brother pointed out to me that if I look in the Constitution and tell me that I don't need a driver's license to travel my own vehicle, and he explained to me like, UPS, that's driving, handling business, and you're just traveling, you don't need no driver's license in your own personal vehicle.
Yes, you traveling from your house to my house isn't no business, no commerce, it's just you. If you were getting on your horse or your scooter or your horse and carriage, you're traveling to my house.
So say if a corporate security was to stop and say, let me see your license, I'm like, well, I'm not my
Well, let me get three forms of ID. Where's your line number? Where's your EID?
May I ask a question since that was brought up? Would it be prudent to call 911 because 9 times out of 10 they'll throw on their emergency lights, and if you didn't call them for an emergency, we would need to help them now with their emergency. Right? I mean, am I saying that wrong? Just
No,
record,
that was
but
good.
okay, all right, it's long. It's long.
It also, for the record, opens up another, I don't know how to say that, another file or another case where someone else gets to see that you've been pulled over, ran off the road, stopped. It opens up a third party that lets everybody know, okay, you weren't the only one who witnessed this. Let's say you didn't have a phone or you couldn't record and you were violated. Yeah, you call 911 because you got one of your corporate people out here violating me and they can't show me 3 forms of ID and they didn't identify themselves and they're not showing me a nationality card, so we got an emergency.
There's my question. People get killed and murdered, right? But we call 911 and they come to help, but yet they're doing wrong things, so who do we call?
The sheriff.
Yeah.
The sheriff. If you still call 911, they still wouldn't bring the local people.
You have your local, state that always
Yes.
have a local sheriff number.
Yes.
So the sheriff.
It's separate. And you know what's funny? It was when they ran me off the road that I realized that they admitted that they worked for a private corporation. Because I said the same thing. I was like, oh, well, let me call the sheriff. And he laughed at it. He said, go ahead, I don't work for her. Right.
You know, that's what you be working for.
For the municipality. And when you look at the definition of a municipality, it's a corporate town or city.
And private contractors.
Private contract. Private corporations, corporate cities, towns.
Clearfield Doctrine. That's why we went over it.
The definition of a municipality. You hear municipality, like, oh yeah, it's just the police district, blah, 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 blah. But that's in context.
Denationalization purposes.
When you denotate the word, when you actually look at the definition, it's a corporate town or city. You automatically deal with corporations. Every time.
It's just crazy. I'm just learning a lot. It's like my brain is just
county was
trying to wrap all this
county.
around. And what Brother Taj pointed out on the screen with Barack Obama and the Pope, like the Pope gave him and said everything right there for the public to see. People still not reading it. People still don't know. And it's crazy how. And it's crazy how.
Send it to the Pope.
Send that to them.
To the Pope's, the
It's hard copy.
To the Pope?
No. Oh wait, no. Sorry, I don't know.
The names.
Now, hold on. Now, in the nature also,
You can't tell the cardinals.
let me see. You would, in the reversion, let me give you a sort of like a nature of a statement that you would make. Hold on.
When you get a chance, can you explain to me? I don't understand what you said about the art museum in Rocky. I don't understand that. I don't
All right,
understand what you're talking about.
listen, real quick. The art museum, if you look from the air, is architecturally given the graphic shape of an animal. The parkway is like a birth canal. The Delaware and the Schuylkill are like the fallopian tubes or the waters. And then they have the cornerstone in a grave pit, right in the dark north. And you have figures holding up the pillars of Atlas, Morocco. Then you have the birth, that's where they do the birth of a nation. Then you have the nation states flags there that represent the eggs in the fallopian tubes. It's like an ankh from the art museum down to the birth. Now, they have Rocky running up there past the statue of Winona, because keep in mind, like we was talking to the sister earlier, after they murdered Winona,
But why? Who? I don't know who that is. The Queen.
Queen Winona, you ever heard of Tammany? Tammany Hall? You're going to learn your history. We'll talk about that later. When William Penn, he landed in Chester area, not in Pennsylvania.
First Street.
Yeah, you understand? And the Moorish parade, the celebration of all the Moors done claiming your land. They were given grant of having some land for a distance that they could walk. And what they've been doing is running set like teams and stuff like that, and claiming the whole area, change the area from Shakamoxon, to fill up this Shakamoxon. And of course, they moved the government to Washington, D.C. And of course, this was the government here. This is why when you see them doing the movie National Treasure with Nicolas Cage, they'll show you the Great Seal Pyramid like a watermark. These are symbolic. And a woman's trying to complete her coin collection. And then they show all the chambers beneath the city that people didn't know. Then they show the treasures of Egypt. For so long, you can't even see the end of it because you're standing on Egypt. And then you see Nicolas Cage go to Pennsylvania House, which is later called Independence Hall, and he takes his finger like this and pulls out a brick, which means masonry. Then you see the blue shades with the flipping thing, which means illusion. Then they run it all over the place, and they got the little black book, tells the real history that only president gets. That's why they get white hair over, because they find out that you made them. All of this stuff. It's your estate.
They had Cage play games.
It's about your estate. And that's what the Moorish break, that's why they assemble at 6th and Moor Street. It's all about stealing your birthright. Everybody's playing dumb. But you need not play dumb.
Right.
And these grand sheiks and sheikesses need not play dumb.
I was kind of disappointed with Barack.
You
I liked him. I kind of liked Barack. But then when I saw that it said pretending to be president, I'm like, damn,
No.
Look.
Then Barack,
You gotta understand he's the president of a corporation.
But he,
didn't he tell you when he came in office, he says, help me to enforce the Constitution. I can't do it by myself.
so he was talking about us.
Well, what do you think he's talking about?
They don't know anything.
Stop. Look, didn't he go to Egypt and tell the whole world that the American Constitution comes from Muslim law? Well, didn't he make sure that you saw the true American flag? Didn't they sign the rights of indigenous people if you declare their nationality?
There were only 4.
What do you want? They're looking for sacrificial lambs.
4 people did not want to sign the rights of the indigenous people. I want to say it's Canada, New Zealand, United States of America.
In Australia.
Can I ask you something?
Oh, yeah, and Australia.
Good.
If, for what I'm understanding, that there's
You're right.
that the president doesn't really run the country.
Right.
So why would Barack get up there and say that? Are they
They're
talking to you
administering
behind you,
over
telling you-
your estate.
Right, but why would he go up there and give out that information?
You can tell them the best you can without getting killed.
I was just going to say,
Oh,
they
so
can't
he
get
was
killed
going, he was going
Yeah.
against them?
Let's back up. Let's back up.
Precious.
Let's back up.
He has a boss.
Let's back up. Let's look at this. This is the law, y'all. This is the law. every man, every woman, and even every child must confess their own. Stop looking for everyone else to confess your own. Obama is a constitutional lawyer, and he's a 33-degree Mason. And he put his life on the line.
Yes, he did.
Telling you.
Especially his last speech. I
No, but he's been telling you, what is he supposed to do?
Since he's been in the administration.
What is he supposed to do?
And he told you, he said from the beginning, nobody's coming to save you. He said it, nobody's.
Now, didn't Raleigh say, help me in my mission? My missionary work? Right?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Didn't Obama do everything he can to keep telling these people? And he told you that the American Constitution comes from Muslim law.
He sure did.
Told you the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, the world's longest running treaty.
Showed you.
Morocco, the first nation to recognize this country.
Showed you.
He's telling you every kind of way he can. What do they want from him?
Showed you the picture of the prophet.
They want sacrificial lambs lay on the railroad track to convince them that they're not black, as if they don't know they're not black. They keep looking for people to hang on the wall, from Jesus to Malcolm, on and on. You ain't getting no more sacrificial lambs. You either going to honor your mothers and fathers, or you're going to disappear, because they're going to use vaporization techniques this time.
That's right.
You want to I'll tell you. Executive Order 11490 King Alfred. They get tired of this nigger stuff. These people want to be black. They get ready to be extremely black.
They about to show you what black really means. Black and destruction.
So let me ask you this. All those higher people.
I got a hard copy to
What about Trump? Is he going to try to help us? Because he
He's sending signals. He's the president of a private corporation. He's wearing two hats. He's in a quandary. The man turns and telling them no more sell. He's trying to feed, because he still belongs to the Jesuits. He's trying to support the Republic. They're undermining him. They're chopping his legs out from under him. They're going to sacrifice him if they can. And he's trying to represent the Republic, which is why I think the other day somebody was calling me today talking about one of the representatives called him the CEO. He said, I'm not the CEO, I'm the president of the Republic. You got to know what he's saying. What he's saying, he's backing up what the Pope said, the Republic. But at the same time, the Republic, they undermined him. It's the only reason he got that seat. But the Jesuits control him. See, so he's in a quandary. See, because he's a big boy himself. But he could discover that there's layers on top of this water.
So the
president is a figurehead.
So is him doing all these crazy stuff like?
No, he's not doing crazy stuff. Don't listen to them when they tell you he's doing crazy stuff.
So that's like a cover-up.
He's telling the
Stop.
He's telling the truth. I told him the other day. Telling a lie.
Do not listen to them when they start talking about he's crazy and he's out to lunch. He's telling the truth. What it is, people are not used to honesty.
Right. That's right.
And so he appears to be out to lunch because he's being blunt.
Bluntly telling the truth.
If he was telling people what they want to hear and still steal their peanut butter sandwich, just say, oh, he really said that, didn't he? I'm voting for him. You know, what did he say about these so-called black people of color war property? He said, y'all keep talking trash and talking about me with your democracy. You ain't had nothing to show for it. Oh, he's insulting us. Why? Because he told the truth. Their property. Talking trash. Talking about him. For being honest. Quick, sis. Give him the mic.
When the Pope, I'm still trying to understand what the letters that the Pope sent to Barack Obama about, did he just resolve everything as far as the courts?
See, and isn't this back, all right, isn't this back to fundamental stuff that we've been telling people forever, and now the Pope is backing it up, and it seems strange to people because the people have been lied to so much, and they've been also in denial. See, so it's sort of like the truth is treated like it's alien. You tell the truth, and then those people look at you like you're out to daggone lunch twice. Hold on, let's go to
agency. And so now it's a court where they're gonna decide who's going to be her guardian, etc. But meanwhile, she's so upset because she feels that what happened to her nephew is trying to get her down to the jail. She doesn't want to go. And it's in the court for them to decide what is going to happen with her.
All right, now that's what you call pathology action. Now this is what you got to do. This is another reason why you're here. If any of you demonstrate that you're not competent, the state's claiming jurisdiction over the estate. One of you all have to demonstrate competence, and you got to be in your proper person. Put her state in trust. This is what we're telling you forever to do. One of y'all got to step up, because if you don't step up in your proper person and do something, it's done.
Well, next court date is the 17th, so how do I do that?
You got to put in a writ and claim your estate.
I don't know how to do that.
Well, that's why you're here too.
I have until the 17th.
And
I
understand this. They have no mercy on you and your estate. Do what you can. You got a flash drive?
Do I have a flash drive?
Yes.
Not with me, no.
Don't come here without flash drive, y'all. And don't come here. No, I know. I'm not picking on you. I'm just saying.
She's not the only one.
You're here to get remedy. What's happening? Let's look at this. Let's look at this. Now, let's look at this. Let's look at this. See this? The original, this is commentary on the letter by Pope Francis. See how this is redundant? See how this is redundant? These are fundamentals.
Yes.
The original and de jure Constitution and government for the United States of America, says small u, Act North America, having a republican form of government, set forth and established at Article 4, Section 4, stands as the supreme law of the land. That organic constitution was altered by acts of misprision and was secretly overthrown and converted into a foreign privately owned and deemed for profit corporation in the year 1871. See the Act of Congress 1871. Also in this first statement, understand the Clearfield Doctrine and why the Clearfield Trust Company won the case and why the doctrine was developed from that case. Are we clear? That said misprision, derived and foreign feudal law entity born of treason was styled as the United States Corporation Company, which is now commonly referred to as the U.S. democracy. That foreign and privately owned entity deceptively created by acts of sedition and all its many states of entities or its other licensed and associated corporate franchisees were and are ultimately and factually owned by the Vatican, being members of the Roman Curia. This politically and socially subdued truth and fact is actually the failed foundation, and source of the functioning jurisdictional powers that gave and still gives the Pope of Rome or the Vatican bishopric the colorably valid and affirmable authority over the entity U.S. democracy, U.S. corporation, United States Corporation, and also jurisdiction over those subordinate associated entities as expressed and executed via this impacting letter. But keep in mind, the 14th Amendment, corporate entity, brings you under that jurisdiction. Do you understand? The Negro, black, and colored brings you under that jurisdiction. Smith, Jones, and Johnson brings you under that jurisdiction. That's why the brands were put in place, to make you not descendable, so that they could claim you under the 14th Amendment as U.S. citizen, which is stock. Has nothing to do with rights, liberties, and anything else. And then they put nigger leaders around you who convince you of civil rights crap, which is 14th Amendment, which gives up your birthright. Now the deal is, like Sis was saying, let's go, there's Pope and his employee.
That's right.
Now all these people, police and everybody, already got this information. That's first paragraph. But let's look Let's look down what all these so-called black leaders know and are paid to stay away from. And this is relative to all capital letters that they send you in the mail. All these estates, small case and estates, uppercase, erroneously believed to represent the American states and American state citizens, and which were conveyed by fraud and legal deceit to the United States of America, minor, and more recently to the city-state of the United Nations, are revenued without exception to the geographically defined American states and American state citizens, where they shall remain in perpetuity as assets belonging to the rightful and lawful beneficiaries. So you see the signal Obama was sending, and now the Pope's backing it up? Is this not what Noble Drawley's been telling you since 1912?
Define revenue without exception.
And then these people been playing with this movement ever since, talking about this religion, betraying the prophet, and in the process betraying you.
Yeah.
And now here we sit today battling, trying to save people's houses and their properties, and they don't even know they were sharecropping. And this stuff was taken care of 102 years ago. We've been playing around with this mess. So now the Manchurian Masons are on the Pope's butt, and he's telling you the truth, what Drawley had told you 102 years ago.
Islam.
So all legal fiction entities, however structured, isn't that the enslavers, transmitting utilities, straw men in all forms, uppercase, lowercase, side case, and somebody else's case,
Suitcase.
and in case, you didn't know? All legal fiction entities, however structured and named after the American states and American state citizens, are returned to them in their control, free and clear of any debt, promise, encumbrance, or obligation alleged against them as a result of false claims made in their behalf by officers of the United States of America, Incorporated, small case, and the United States, Incorporated, uppercase, or by any foreign officials operating the United States of America, minor, or the United Nations, city-state, falsely claiming to represent them and have jurisdiction over them. You see why they're nervous with you? You just took them back into international law, to their obligations. They expect you to know this stuff. We know that the current circumstances in part the result of criminal acts engaged in 150 years ago. And 102 of them is the work of Noble Drawley, which resulted in the commercial enslavement of African Americans who were summarily claimed as chattels back in U.S. government debt in wake of the Civil War. That's all your U.S. T-bonds. That's what the nations of the earth are dissolving now. So this stuff is crashing, so they're accelerating their actions against everybody's estate, because their stuff is toast.
Islam.
Go ahead.
Taj, what's the difference between American state citizens and U.S. citizens?
Because Americans are Al-Moroccans. They're the people of the land. That's why he said geographically defined Americans, which means they're not corporately defined. So he's talking about the people of the land, distinguished from people of the corporation.
Islam.
They've been converting your estate falsely into their foreign jurisdiction.
Tell it.
And so we know that the current circumstances in part the result of criminal acts engaged in 150 years ago, which resulted in the commercial enslavement of African Americans who were summarily claimed as chattels back in U.S. government debt in wake of the Civil War, despite every act of abolition and declaration of prohibition against both peonage and slavery. It has been the policy of the U.S. government to enslave its citizens and to operate as a rogue state among the nations of the world. This is why they're playing dumb, April. Instead of freeing African Americans, the sum total result of the Civil War was to vastly expand public sector ownership of slaves, giving rise to the outrageous and improper claims that have been made against the American states and the American state citizens that we are dealing with today. It is uniquely fitting that the Grand Army of the Republic is recalled to settle this circumstance in favor of the people. Attachments, civil orders, Hannah Sophia Ritzinger von Wittgenstein von Letlow Burbeck, private attorney in service to His Holiness, Pope Francis document related. The United States isn't a country, it's a corporation. The hidden Vatican Crown Empire. This is back to the semantics. If you keep on referring to them as a country, you give up their birthright. If you keep referring to them as the nation, you give up your birthright. If you don't command these grand chiefs to enforce the law, and don't enforce caveat emptor, you're giving up your birthright. If you hire a lawyer, you're giving up your birthright. If you present yourself in propria persona, claim your estate. Failure to do so is an abandonment. That's how they're operating. Are we clear?
Clear.
So let me finish this one. Mr. Obama is the president, quote unquote, of a governmental services corporation. Under contract to provide stipulated services to the organic states. Therefore, there's an administrative action. So act like an heir and demand what you want as an heir. He otherwise acts as a foreign dignitary, representing the United States of America minor. In neither of these case capacities is he allowed any granted authority to impose upon the American states, endanger American state property, or command mercenary forces on American state soil, however veiled as federal civilian service agencies. We require the Joint Chiefs of Staff and General Ham to commence measures to disarm federal civilian agency personnel and to seize control of the vast stockpiles of arms which have been improperly amassed by the Department of Homeland Security, FEMA, and other agencies employed by the United States, all caps. So as you can understand, these people are frauds. They're imposters. They're pretending authority they don't have. They're intimidating people. This is what they're doing. But they're all members of the Roman Curia. So the Pope is what? Sitting them down. Do you understand? So the Pope got you back and he owns them. So what happens if you don't stand up and argue on behalf of your estate? It's called abandonment, isn't it? So what did Raleigh say to these Moors? If you don't do anything else, what did he say? What happens if you don't? Your estate is hypothecated. It's that simple. It's not complex. The Pope got you back now. What do you want? These people keep looking for a sacrificial lamb so they can paste some more pictures on the wall.
I still don't.
See, Jesus is great and stuff.
I still understand.
But they kill him. You see, Marcus Garvey was great and stuff, but they kill him. See, no Raleigh was great and stuff, but they kill him. You see, Malcolm was great and stuff. They looking for a sacrificial lamb, they ain't getting no more. Go ahead, sister.
I still don't understand.
Get the mic, please.
I'm sorry, I still don't understand. So what do you do about your mortgage? What do you do with it?
Your mortgage?
I don't
Stop. What does mortgage mean? Get in the mic. What does mortgage mean?
Dead pledge.
What does mortgage mean?
Dead.
Mortgage means dead pledge. Contract's dead, you're the pledge. At what point did you know you was share property?
I just found out.
No, so what you want to do is what's called conversion. All right, let's look at this as an example.
I know you said talk about the straw man at the Capitol.
Well, straw man is those old capital letters. That's what straw man is.
Right. So what do you do when you get
Well, here you go.
mail like that?
Well, now you're going to learn, aren't you? Now look at this. What you going to do? What you going to do? You going to call Ghostbusters or something? You going to call us? This is an example. Quick claim deed, right? Local aboriginal paramount clear perfect title of conveyance to international private trust. See that? Huh? You see them flying the continental flag and the American flag? Huh? Stars and Stripes ain't there because they already did what? They violated breach of trust. They violated the platform. Those who called us at sea are now find themselves at sea. Those who are stealing your birthright, they lost their own. Are we clear? So now the heir of the land has right of claim to their estate, but you must be in propria persona, mustn't you? So you got to build a trust, don't you? Since they've been hiding the trust Raleigh set up under treason, So now you're being taught, and so while these traitor grand sheiks and sheikas has been hiding what the prophet set up, we're teaching you how to do your own to protect your stuff. Are we clear?
Clear.
But we have to depend on you studying because we can't babysit you. Do you understand? We can assist you, but we can't babysit you. You got to take your estate as serious as they've been taking your estate stealing it.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes.
All right, so this is an example when you ask what to do. This is for those of you who have a flash drive, this is on your flash drive. And the more you do this, the more the situation falls apart. See, because you can never capture the straw. They will not give it up. You have to choke it. Do you understand? There is no original documents, birth certificates, marriage certificates, anything that they will give up. They can't. They won't. Those bonds are forever active. If you think that your cousin that died, your uncle that died, grandmom and everything that passed forms, that they ain't still using that CUSIC number or that social security number, all you gotta do is type it in on the internet and you can see corporations around the world are still using it. They're active because you're already declared dead. And unless you're in propria persona, you're dead at sea. Are we clear?
Clear.
This is what the branding system was for. Now that you're starting to declare your nationality, it's killing the bonds, so it's causing anybody who bought them, any nation that bought them, they get locked into 5 different safes behind the other safe, behind the other safe, behind the 10-foot concrete walls. And it's dead, without you having to capture anything. Just declare your nationality and make it public. Take all your stuff and put it in trust. Make it what? Private. Because the deal is they've taken your private property, put it into the public venue. That's what the coup d'etat was all about. Are we clear? Are we clear?
Clear.
Are we clear?
Clear.
Yeah.
We gotta get together. Because we like overtime, undertime, around time, somebody's time.
What I wanted to say, what you said before is don't get an attorney
because they're deputy knights for the popes of Rome.
You ever notice that
Now,
they're friends with the lawyers?
Go into your Zodiac Constitution that CMA registered in the Library of Congress as a counter to the COINTELPRO that came into the temples. You ever notice that when you mention CMA, a lot of the grand sheiks and stuff get all upset?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know why they get upset? Because put out-of-chamber information in book form and copyrighted so they couldn't tamper with it. And you need 3 certificates to get to it. Though we've been sharing it with you in the Library of Congress. When you hire a lawyer, you give them your birthright because they're deputy knights for the Pope of Rome under the Unum Sanctum policy. They're not there to protect you, they're there to undermine the Republic's Constitution. They're traitors for you. Now, I want you to go to your law book, because you got your law book. Go to 4 and look up leave and read it thoroughly. Anybody that think when they hire a lawyer they represent you, no. They're officers of the court that ain't a court. And their obligation is to the court, not to you. They're there to screw you. Do you understand?
As I was dealing with the situation, the dean, Donald Young, he told me, he said, you can get an attorney, but I advise you not to because they cost so much. I would advise you to get a public speaker.
How about speaking? Why is he advising you? How come? Why not speak for yourself? Why not present yourself, what you've been doing?
And that's what I was going to say. I heard you say earlier that you wanted to be a lawyer. Keep studying law. It makes you a lawyer. You are a lawyer. You are the one who administers law.
No, you are the law. God, self, law, and master.
Of your world, your universe, and everything that's in it.
This is an instrument that presents from a living person, natural person who understands the issue of a state. Are we clear? This is just an example. It doesn't have to be exactly like this, but it is representative of someone who knows. If you do not make a public claim of right of private property, it is already assumed hypothecated, which includes your liberties and all inheritances. That's the Dungy case. That's why I opened up with the Dungy case, to give you an example. You see? But you're already in the consciousness. This is what's happening with you. You're strong and you're still doubting yourself. You're working it out, but you're doubtful. So we're giving you some more support. We got your back. Comprende? You understand? Mike, go ahead.
The private trust.
Go ahead, sister.
Can you explain to me?
This is this is a conversion.
No, I
This is
know
what-
exactly what that is.
Oh, yeah.
No, what I want you to know is, can you please explain to me is, why is people taking their birth certificate and getting it authenticated? And
Because they're falling for the game of conversion. That's why I got conversion there. See, this is the deal.
what are people doing?
Excellent
The
question,
birth
Mother.
certificate-
Excellent question. This is going on Facebook like
Wait,
crazy.
sis.
Repeat the question.
Get the mic.
The talk is people taking a birth certificate and getting a private trust, and they're talking about these UCC1, open up in the
All right.
UCC1s and authenticating the birth certificate and call themselves putting it inside my trust.
All right, now listen, this is what happens. This is what happens. With the coup d'etat of 61 and the setting up of the private corporation, United States Corporation Trust Company, that's bankrupt, that was reconstructed 4 times after. Lincoln bankrupted 1, Drew Ali bankrupted 2 of them. And this last one, the Pope bankrupted. He wiped the state, wiped the slate. This what must be understood. When they converted the private rights of the people into the public forum, putting it underneath the kingship oligarchy, which has been pretending to be Congress, they went under what is called commercial law or commercial codes. The commercial codes were not uniform until about 66 to 68 when they blackmailed the representatives of Texas to come on board. That's when they became uniform commercial codes. Now the birth certificate became a bank bond under House Joint Resolution 192, 73rd Congress in session June the 5th, 1933, under Skull and Bones operative of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, to use the birth certificate as bonds because they ran through all of the marriage certificates and the nation states wasn't accepting them. However, they were still forcing the nation states under their military operations to accept it. But what it's been doing is making the other nation states broke. Now, the deal is the birth certificate is really a bank bond. Under the Uniform Commercial Codes, people were offered to authenticate it in order to get control of the global world trust that we're talking about that was set up after the Red House fell. But understand this rule to answer your question. In law, there is no clerk of any office that is releasing any original documents, whether birth certificates, marriage certificates, etc. They are bank bonds, and they have multiple signatures upon which the United States have been backing their debt since the Civil War. They ain't giving up crap. Number 2, when you're taking control of an estate or a property or anything of substance, you must be, quote unquote, and you know, write this down, holder in due course. In order to be holder in due course, you must have in possession the original instrument, whether a mortgage, bond, etc. There is no clerk of any biostatistics that delivers to anyone the original birth certificate. What they need them to do is authenticate the fraud, which gets them off the hook. Because in the future, anyone who seeks a benefit in the fraud has actually authorized the fraud, sanctioned it, and in future have no suit of reparation.
That's right.
They've been tricked.
They eliminate themselves.
They offered them an apple and they bit. Now, let's look at this. What does the record show? This is what the record shows. Is it not true that Germany is the #1 ally of the United States Service Corporation that has been fostered by its owners as a country since 1861? Is it not true that Germany is their #1 ally? Is it not true that a few years back, Germany sent representatives to check their gold, which was marked bars, at New York, and they told them to take a walk, take a hike. And then a month or so after they visited, those buildings dropped, and they say that Moscow did with box cutters.
Come on.
And got away with it. And they used advanced laser technology that pulverized the stone before it even hit the ground, turned it into powder. And they told people that airplane fuel made that building fall. And the second one that I hit fell before the first one. And the third building and other buildings fell that wasn't hit.
Wasn't even hit.
They fell in sympathy. No, they fell, I think we'll fall too. Anyway, but the deal of it is, but yet people in denial buy it. But the real deal that I'm saying to you is keep this in mind in contract law and in law of, I want you all to look up holder in due course and look at the requirements. And so to be holder in due course, you must be the original holder. And this is the fundamental basis on how, I think it was a lawyer, a woman lawyer, and a male European lawyer who was losing their property, who knowing this, went after, sued and went after the mortgage companies. And this is where that MERS decision came from, where all the banks were declared frauds.
Yes.
Because it's the Clearfield principle. Because that's private commercial paper. And it really is no debt. That's their private debt that they've been converting onto people. And they don't have the original mortgage and promissory note, which in law must be maintained together for the full duration of the transaction of the alleged loan. At any time, be they separated, the claim of the banks are dead. They're already dead because they created a third-party trustee within 72 hours in the first place and separated them and made them securities, which is also a violation, Clearfield Doctrine. And then upon a challenge, they can't produce the original document, they have copies, and they start telling people what they owe. People who don't understand this principle start arguing money and payments. They already know you're incompetent because it's an estate. You see these subtleties? And they're not the holder in due course, but they're claiming to be, aren't they? This is why they fail. Likewise, do you think that these people will give these people the original birth certificate from the Jesuits and have them revert the global world trust that has been supporting the whole Western Hemisphere since the Civil War? No. And their war machine? When they don't even honor their relationship with their #1 ally, Germany? So they think some Negroite who gets UCCs think he's going to do a UCC1 financial statement and they're going to give you your stuff. And then Susie can't go to college, they lose their house in the Poconos. You know, my answer to that is simple. You must be holder in due course. And I suggest that you're not holder in due course. But if they can trick you into authenticating that instrument, that bodily instrument, that birth certificate, bank bond, what is the rule of authentication? Can it be in the future declared a fraud when you yourself now authorized it?
No.
For the promise of a benefit, you just let them off the hook.
Yes.
That's all I have to say about that.
Yes.
That's why I did that class.
I just wanted you to clear that up
Yeah.
for thousands of
And it's simple by understanding, and because people will argue this down to the letter. This is why you must understand the position of holder in due course. To be holder in due course, to make the claim. You can't make the claim if you're not holder in due course. Don't mean that you can't make the claim. It has no standing.
Question.
It's fine.
My question is, as a mother, can I do a writ or something to the court if my son is...
To the tribunal pretending to be the court. To the to the owners, administrators, that's fostering and pretending to be a court and pretending to have jurisdiction. What did the Pope say about his members of his Roman Curia that claim to have jurisdiction over you and your children? I didn't hear you. I didn't hear your answer.
They do not.
Well, then why don't you answer your question?
Well, I guess
Why don't you answer your question?
I guess my question is, since my son
Meaning that
has
you
not-
guess you don't have a question, you must start making statements. Meaning you must start removing yourself from the subordinate mentality and start taking the authoritative position as an heir. If you don't step across that bar of understanding and comprehension, you will be declared incompetent. And they will assume jurisdiction under the rule of abandonment, which is what they've been doing. And so what we're trying to get you all to understand and comprehend is the same thing that she's doing right now as a child. She's taking an affirmative stand on her right. Anything less than that is abandonment, and all operates on that perspective.
Well, my son has not claimed his
Well, he's state property. Well, how old is he?
22.
Well, he's state. He's property. Now, he can confess his own or he can choose not to.
But he has a case coming.
Well, guess what? He's got a bond on it too. Now, it's like this. He should be here with you. But it's like, look, this is what, and from a mother's position, your compassion is well noted. From a reality position, I'm not going to sit up here and delude you. If he wants to be property, he has a right to be. If he doesn't want to be property, then he better change his position because he's property. And it's what it is. You know, it's sort of like this. Our people going to have to get extreme pain to make them go back in honor. But the problem that we have right now, we don't have a lot of time because they intend to liquidate these people. Hold on, let me show you something, then we're going to close out because we above time, around that.
Yeah, it's almost midnight.
And duality and stuff.
Next day time.
Hold on.
Camera had his time.
Yeah, boy, the camera has had his time. It's gonna be a hell of a film.
You need it the most.
Whoa, don't say that about my sister like that.
Well, you get it. So as a mom, she was nervous.
That clip was it's over 1 page now. The clip was not.
Now,
I know.
Now this is Executive Order 11490, and after this we'll answer a couple questions and close out because we got everybody overtime here. Now keep this in mind. This is military operations. These are concentration camps that you're looking. Most of them are women's prisons, except for their concentration camps. And all your politicians have this information. All your Negro leader guys that keep on talking this black stuff got this information, but they think they ain't gonna get cooked. So they think they're gonna get special benefits and that they can keep portraying their own people.
I don't think so.
And that everything gonna be fine. Well, they're gonna find out that's not true.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes,
When
sir.
can you
Isn't it
do
obvious?
something like that and everything is okay? If you put your own people under the bus, don't you
It's
expect
like
the people
this.
that are oppressing you to put you under the bus when you're done? So
Now, this is where the Europeans are telling the truth. What you call the middle class Europeans are exposing things because they're being dissolved.
What page are you on, beloved?
And this is where that symbolically in the Bible, we're talking about Jesus and the new era, in the new world.
Mm-hmm.
The earth is not going away, but there'll be a new world, a new earth.
Mm-hmm.
a new heavens and a new earth. Rome, who have put themselves on the throne of God, in the book of Thessalonians 1 and 2, claiming to be God, will be dethroned. Do you understand? So those who got on to their apron strings going to find themselves in a position that they exactly don't want to be in, but they think they're going to get cookies, betraying their Rome. See, because it gives the appearance that Rome has all the power, so they're willing to betray. Judas factor. Well, they're going to find themselves like they did Geronimo. You know how those bones that they show in Skull and Bones? Those are Geronimo's bones. He went around telling the Asiatics, you know, make peace with the European, get rid of your weapons and stuff. And then as soon as he did, they took his weapons and threw him in the gulag. And they used his bones in that theme of Skull and Bones. You see the crossbones in that skull? That's Geronimo's bones. So those who think they want to help Rome and not get cooked, got another one coming. Note, this is Executive Order 11490. Note, so y'all can look at this together so that you can make sure that you can read this. Know that the appropriate time to be designated by the President, the leaders of some of these organizations are to be detained only when it's clear they cannot prevent the emergency. Working with local police officials during the first critical hours, all other leaders are to be detained at once. Compile a list of minority leaders have been ready at the National Data Computer Center. It is necessary to use the minority leaders designated by the President in much the same manner in which we use minority members who are agents with central and federal. And we cannot, until there is no alternative, reveal King Alfred and all its aspects. Minority members of Congress will be unseated at once. This move is not without precedent in American history. Attorney General, preliminary memo, Department of Defense. This memo is being submitted in lieu of a full report from the Joint Chiefs of Staff. That report is now in preparation. There will be many cities where the minority will be able to put into the street a superior number of people with a desperate and dangerous will. He will be a formidable enemy. Why? Read this together, y'all. For he is bound to the continent by heritage, and knows that political asylum will not be available to him in other countries. The greatest concentration of minorities in the deep southeastern seaboard, Great Lakes region, and West Coast. So these people who thought they was brought from someplace else are home, aren't they?
Yep.
Islam.
They're bound to the continent by heritage, and their black leaders been telling them about the black diaspora and everything.
Yes.
They've been agents for federal and central, perpetrating the fraud to disconnect you from the land. Declare your nationality and declare your state and act like you know. Failure to do so is an abandonment. That's all they want you to do. And what they want to do, they're going to cook them as quickly as possible before they figure this thing out. This is what they have in the works for such persons called people of color. They do. Hold on, I'll show you.
Geoengineering.
Security page.